guys know, it is Drunken Chat, son.
Oh, there we go. I apologize for you guys not being able to hear me. Freaking too much huffing, bro. Um, but yeah, freaking, I am your host, Chitlin Greens and Cornbread. Your drunken host, drunken Chitlin Greens Cornbread, and I was talking about the uh, the SAG-AFTRA um Yeah, and now we were talking about the SAG-AFTRA freaking strike. It's over right now. As of right now, it went on for 118 days. They ratified it by 86 to 14. The things they were going to ratify was stuff like agreements includes an unprecedented wage pattern with two wage increases in the first year of the contract, 7% increase in the first year, 4% increase in July 2024. Compounded making a first year increase of 11.28%. There'll be another 3.5 increase effective July 2025. And this patch increase breaks the so-called industry pattern. Wages for background actors, which is pretty big. I think that's who they were really needed to be fighting for. It's going to be increased by 11% effective immediately. This is projected to add almost 11,000 new covered background workdays annually, nearly 43% increase to the contribution cap for 1 hour productions, and nearly 67 increase to cap for all half-hour productions. Also, was going to be protected is background workers from being sheltered out from AI use. I know that was a big thing that they were working on. The contract also achieved important gains for hair, makeup equity, diverse statistics, eliminating inappropriate wiggings and paint downs, gender neutral language, access to gender affirming care, and translation services. Um, let's see, meaningful protections for casting process should be provided no less than 48 hours to the submission deadline. Talent may not be asked to perform more than 8 industry standard pages for a first. And this is one of the most important things as well, is that if you go for audition, like how many times can they have you audition? Um, how were they going to have you audition? Can I just do one tape? Can I do two tapes? Because people think, oh, I'm going to do audition and all I got to do is just show up. No, for a lot of these people, the stuff was like far out. So what they would have to do is they would have to go to a studio, these little micro studios, record the audition tape, and that stuff is not cheap. Sometimes it'd be $250 a pop to go to these little audition things, and you couldn't just go to whatever one. You had to go to one that was prescribed by the studio. Um, so I think that was one of the most interesting things that I didn't realize what was going on. I did realize there's respectful studios, but I didn't realize that they were saying, "Hey, you got to go to mine," and whatever. That was crazy. Substantial improvements in relocation allowances for senior performers were also made, covering 5,000 per month for up to 6 months, and then yada 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 for, and then it goes on and on and on. I do not have the official, um, the big document of where all that stuff is, but if there's anything else big that's definitely going to affect, the the studios or anything like that, or especially our world, I'll definitely we can put that out to next time we're out on this thing. All right. So the other thing was, I think I talked about this one last week. Variety put out a big hit piece, talking about, um, Marvel's going down. They're freaking going down with the ship. They're getting really, it's still good, but then some of the executives actually did come back and was like, "Yeah, you guys are freaking nuts. What are you talking about? We're still king of the crop." Um, In fact, one of this one guy, who was this guy's name? His name was, he's senior vice president of publishing. Um, no, Tom Breverroot, who's also published of nothing. He was hired as an intern in 1989, made executive editor in 2007, and initially senior vice president of publishing in 2011. Who wrote, "It's been funny this past week to see all the mail that started coming through typical Marvel email addresses. Funny because none of it is about comic book publishing at all, but instead a response in one way or another to Variety's recent clickbait story concerning the status of Marvel Studios. And as you might expect, there's no shortage of people who are eager to tell folks there is how it is or how to fix it at all. Of course, I might have more faith in whatever magical solutions they might have to offer if they were able to locate the proper addresses to send this stuff to. But then I can only imagine how much similar correspondence to actual studios people get, as this is what arrives in my mailbox each morning. So, not necessarily an answer to like all the stuff that was written in there. It was just the guy from publishing saying, "Yeah, I mean, like, look, if you guys want to help us out, like, send it to the right studio." Right, and I can't even trust your ability to have a good idea if you can't even get the email address right. So just to put that on your guys' plate. All right, so we also had the what we call it, the final episode of Loki season 2. And let me put this to you straight, gents. Let me take a little hold on. Loki, I think a lot of people would agree, might be seriously the best thing that Marvel has ever put out. Genuinely, um, really freaking great ending, really a great show, and I am impressed. And this could be the last thing that we see from Loki, writing Loki, whether it be a movie or TV series. But I'll be happy and I would be very pleased because this is how you're supposed to, handle a character. And look, they did it. They broke the bad finale curse finally. Um, look, Sylvia and in between the man who remains, all this craziness with the secrets timeline, millions of lives being pruned off, and or leave everything to watch over the timelines himself, meaning millions will be still alive and all that other stuff. That was all real good, but the only thing is, I don't think people are grasping that right now, like how important that is. But look, this show is crazy, no doubt the best Marvel content. Now, in fact, I'm not even going to go to that because I don't want to spoil it for people. But because I guess I got to give you guys a week or two. But when Loki was first announced, I first thought, what a disappointing reversal for one of the best parts of this Marvel Universe, but it turns out it may be the best character arc in all of the MCU. Now the only question is okay. Now what? How does go? How does MCU go on from here? Do they keep marching towards the Secret Wars and all that other stuff? Um, and it's going to be interesting to see. So I don't know what you guys thought, but let's see. Let's keep it going. In the meantime, look, this is let's go back. Let's stay with the TVs and the movies. Last week, this was the number one movie. Was Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's. It was grossing 80,000 within 7 days. But here we go. This is what we're talking about right here. Um, The Marvels. The Marvels was the top movie this week. The problem is, whereas Five Nights at Freddy's was punching out 80,000 this week, this is only punching out $6 million. Even Five Nights at Freddy's didn't do too well at 1 point something. Um, that's madness right there. I mean, so yeah, so for that you can't even blame the Marvels because it's a movie wide thing that's happening right now that people didn't really want to go to the movies this week. That's the way I would take it. Um, it's but you just gotta I guess you just gotta go with the flow of this one. But 6.6 million, I think that's what people were tracking anyway. I think now people are tracking it's going to be maybe at like around 26 for the weekend. But right now, the Marvels are shipping up to be the lowest domestic opening for a Disney Marvel Cinematic Universe, with maybe tops is going to top out at a 3 day swing of 47 to like 55 million or something like that. And that's lower than Universal's Incredible Hulk, which did like 55.4, and lower than Ant Man at 57.2, which makes sense for Ant Man because um, no nobody hardly knew who the Ant Man was. Um, but Friday, as of Friday today, it looks like it's going to be topping out like around 21, 22 million. Um, and that's after clocking in like 6.5 through Thursday, which is when I went to see it. Now it's going to be really bad for it to be copping out at it. Um, if it's got that budget of $200 million, and that's for a sequel. Um, Now Chad Cave says he's ruling the bet that increases the following couple of weeks because of word of mouth. Well, let's see what the word of mouth is currently looking at because up till Thursday or Friday, the Rotten Tomato score was absolutely horrible. It was like headed at like 40%. Now the critical reviews on Rotten Tomato have it at right around 62%, and that's for you know. And I took a look at some of those reviews, and they were critical. Those people that are supposed to be professionals, they get the same bona fides that I am. They don't know how to write for shit. They just say, "Oh, it's bad for this, bad for that," and they didn't really describe anything that was actually happening in the movie. There are people that are writing these freaking reviews that have no knowledge about what is going on in the Marvel universe. They don't read comic books. I don't know if they even like movies, to tell you the truth. When I looked at some of those reviews, so there's a definitely the dissonance in between the people that should be reviewing these type of movies and the people that are actually wrote this shit. Um, yes, Cat Chat also says he thinks that 90% of people care about audience scores as opposed to yes, because I mean, how many times um, has there been these critical review scores, and then you get to the audio score, and the audio score is amazing. And let me tell you a trick when it comes to some of this stuff. And I also started noticing when I went home and I saw a whole bunch of stuff on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. You get more views if you just say a whole bunch of bad shit. Okay, because there are a lot of miserable people out there, and they don't want to hear about the happy-go-lucky good stuff all the time. So, in order to keep those clicks and keep those views, you got to be like, "Hey, The Marvels was the worst movie that that Marvel has ever had, and this is why," right? Or, "Hey, uh, Carol Danvers was the worst actress I've ever seen, and here's why." And then people are freaking clicking, and they can't freaking wait to to look at it because there's people out there that they don't care about happy-go-lucky stuff. They just want to hear about how bad something's happening and disaster that's happening. And I feel like in order for some of these people to actually get their bona fides, because in order to get your bona fides on Rotten Tomatoes, you have to be on a platform that gets like a million views like every. I'm I'm trying to remember. I think it's like every 6 days or something like that. If you get like a million clicks every 6 days, and you put out content, then you freaking get your bona fides and you get verified as a reviewer. So in order to get those clicks going and those views going, then you gotta, of course, then you gotta see bad stuff about stuff just to just to keep your bona fides going. So, um, but yeah, freaking. So we're looking sitting at 62% as far as those critical reviews in quotation marks. Thursday Night Post Track exits from were severe for general audience at 3.5, but 4.5 stars from parents and 5 stars from kids under 12. That said, kids and parents combined only ripped 9% of the audience. Um, but here's what I will say about what I did say. I thought that the pace was absolutely freaking snappy. Um, there are several times when I had a freaking goofy grin on my face. I feel like Marvel definitely really cranked it up on the goofiness scale, which is hard to crank it up when you consider that they got movies and IPs such as Guardians of the Galaxy out there. It definitely had a lot of heart. Definitely had a really good lighthearted vibe. Um, One thing that really got me how the movie was tied into their broader Marvel universe, between Nick Fury, jump points, those nega bands, the Hala, the Kree. Talking about the Kree Empire, how that one decision that she made, freaking changed this whole thing. I saw really weird reviews out there, like, "Oh my god, we got this villain, and she's not big enough. She's not Thanos level." So what? Why does she have to be Thanos level? And um, actually, I'm not gonna go into that because I don't want to freaking spoil it. But you know what? I'll do spoilers next week. When it comes to all that stuff. But it was really really weird, the reviews that I've been seeing out there and people talk about stuff. And let me talk about these leading ladies here. Absolutely fantastic. From Kamala Khan to Monica Rambeau, even even this little lady who's playing Carol Danvers. And let me tell you why. And you know how much after she was saying all that crazy stuff, how much I did not appreciate her or like her. But let me tell you what they did on this one. And people just don't get it because they're like, "Oh man, she was so mean and so crazy in the first one, and now you're making her a joke." Well, guess what? Right? She was when in the first one, she didn't even know who she was. Right? All she knew was she was a Kree soldier meant to be a killing machine. She didn't even know who she was. But in this one, they took the time to say, "Hey, she kind of now knows who she is. She's had time to be on her own and figure out what she likes to do in this world. And now she's calming down, right? She's not out there just wearing black and trying to be and hold on to this 90s grunge stuff that she used to do 30 freaking years ago. Now she's grown into her role. She's grown into her own self as a person, and she's not being the 90s grunge person anymore. She's actually put more color and she's got more color into her life. Even like her clothes kind of represent that. So just keep an eye on that as like what a lot of the stuff that she's wearing is supposed to represent. Um, Dave SMC said, "Yep, it was a good movie. Way better than Love and Thunder, Ant-Man, Quantum Man, the first Captain Marvel's movie." Um, and then Chad K says Thor L2 was the worst Marvel movie made. At least my least favorite. It made Thor: The Dark World look like The Godfather. So let me take another sip with Tinky. Yep. So here's what I will say about those movies. In between the first Ant Man and then the second Ant Man Quantumania, there was a big difference. The first Ant Man, it had a theme, right? It was supposed to be like an Ocean's 11 type movie where you got to love the character because you understood like the basic theme of the movie. Like, hey, this guy's he's a thief. He's gonna go in and freaking steal some stuff. He might have a little help, he may not, but he's gonna freaking steal some shit. And then when we get to Ant-Man Quantumania, it, it stopped doing that. It was weird. Like it didn't really have a formula for how it was trying to deliver what it was trying to do. Um, it's like, yeah, okay, we're introducing this new world for you, but there was no lens for which I could judge like how it was doing what it was trying to do, right? It was like, oh, we're going on an adventure, but there was no adventure or sci-fi that I could attach myself to and get to understand like where they were going with. Same thing for Dark World. All right. Same thing for Thor: Love and Thunder. Right. It was like okay, they were kind of based it off of this love stuff, right? Because you say, hey, this is a love story. Okay, great. Let's do this love story. It was not like any type of Hallmark freaking love story I've ever seen, or like any type of rom com that I've ever seen. It just wasn't familiar uh, to a lot of audiences. Now here in this particular movie, um, it had more of a what do you call it? A buddy cop type team up type deal. That's what the feel I feel like they were going for here. So there's the buddy cop team up sliced with this climatology type background field. And I feel like that's what they were going for. I don't feel like people were going to necessarily like the climatology stuff, but I do think that people can recognize the buddy cop stuff. Now it's a little weird the dynamic because you got three main stars here, and of course, in a lot of buddy cops joints, you do have to have somebody with trauma, so that's where Monica Rambeau does, and that carries us on to other stuff. But I feel like I understand where they were going with this, and I feel like they did just enough to be good at it. But it's a little wonky, and I think people will be thrown off because of course you do have that third person in there. Um, let's see. Chad Key was saying, "I've seen it. It was boring. Villain was boring. Even Fury was getting kind of old. Well, Furry being old is that's already been established in was it Furry? What was it? It was the TV series. Was that called Nick Fury? Um, Villain was boring. Look, they went back to the same formula that I think people understood is that the villain was right in this one. Stop watching it when you're watching it. Stop watching it as if the Marvels had the higher ground in this one. The villain was right, right? The villain was just trying to do what they did to save their world, and that's where that person was coming from, right? And he said several times, "Hey, I understand what you wanted us to do, but I'm out of time. We're out of freaking time. We got to freaking do this right now." And that's where the villain was coming from. Getting old. He's 80, and when I didn't want you to watch him in the movies, his capital team. He's not a furry. Hey, with that crazy ass beard, he might as well be, right? But yeah, man, freaking the MCU is storytelling is at its absolute best. After coming from watching Marvels, I felt that this is exactly what the MCU needed, right? The stakes, lower stakes. I wouldn't say lower stakes, but you didn't feel the gravitas of the stakes, right? Because and this is where it does get funny. People are like, "Oh man, the stakes were too low. What happened to the Thanos type threat?" Like, do you understand how the fucking sun works? If you don't have air, if you don't have a fucking sun, if your water goes throughout your fucking planet, you're fucking done. All right. So don't tell me that shit is like lower freaking stakes. Um, Look, it was a beautiful, epic finale that truly ventured into the ideas of free will, friendship. It was definitely a lot brighter, more colorful, silly, fun, cosmic. And I get it that you guys want your I am Batman and I am Iron Man and freaking these freaking dark characters. Look. We don't need that all the goddamn time. We don't need that all the freaking time. I want to go these superheroes. The idea of a superhero is fucking silly. Let's freaking get freaking silly with it, you know. But once again, it was just a good time. Um, I would compare the silliness to Ragnarok, right, and how good it was. It starts early, doesn't waste time, doesn't apologize to you and your your macho sensibilities about what type of film is going to be. Kamala and Monica are the highlights, but Carol, like I said, has been given a lot more personality. And people are like, "Oh, Bree, she doesn't look like she wanted to be there." It's like because you got to remember, she's supposed to be the professional freaking type of freaking soldier, man, on deck. Again, she's still got some stuff that she's gotta work through. Um, but yeah, man, freaking, it was definitely good. They could probably maybe have added 15 to 20 minutes if they wanted to, but I got it. Hey, let's get from here. Let's get to A. Let's get to freaking B. And then after that, let's freaking have the big fight and then freaking send everybody on the way and set up for the rest of the MCU going forward. So I think they did a really good job. And I do think that um, when it comes to these different reviews and people talking about different little things, I don't think we saw the same movie. I don't think we saw the same movie. Crazy to think our next movie is Deadpool. Are you talking about Marvel? Are you talking about Marvel movie or because our next superhero movie is Aquaman, and that looks like a big ball of freaking trash. Um, guessing M.B. Jordan was Killmonger, but I'm sure to like him as an actor, he would have been an amazing Nick Fury. Yeah. All right. Moving on to some of the other news is that um, look, Nintendo has decided that they are going to do a live action film of Legend of Zelda. Fans have already been talking about who they want to be the actor and the actress to play the certain things. But I think this is a good move. We've had several really good freaking projects come out. We've had Dungeons and Dragons, Mario Brothers, Sonic the Hedgehog, which have all been freaking hits. So this is definitely an interesting direction for all of the studios involved. Um, so if there's any, so if there's anything that you guys are wondering, like, oh, maybe that would be a freaking good All right, I'm back. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, it was weird. My audio set turned off for a little bit. All right. Um, Next up, talking about John Wick is getting an anime TV show, separate from the way the Continental works. Um, yeah, because there's going to be the Continental thing, the prequel deal that they're talking about. But this now there's going to be an anime. Once again, if you're interested in this, definitely pick up the comic book #1, issue #1. I think that came out like 2 or 3 years ago. Definitely was pretty good, interesting. Give us a little insight into John Wick and how he actually started with the whole deal. I would think that that's what they would use as the source material for the anime, but no, who knows? We'll see. Bloodborne, really good, game as well. That has a movie on its way. I've been telling people about this for like a couple years now. Definitely want to pick up is Bloodborne #1. It should probably be in a bunch of back bins, as people are probably not tracking this one. It has not been officially confirmed yet, but I do know that a lot of studios were already sniffing around this one. So definitely keep this in your considerations. And last but not least, when it comes to this stuff, is that let me make sure I'm getting the right one. So there is a Kickstarter for a new comic book. It's going to be called King Chrome. It's going to be written by KB Lame. So for those that don't know about KB Lame, I think he's got about the most followers on TikTok. Um, he's made a whole bunch of followers off of actually not saying that goddamn thing, which is amazing. But he's got a freaking comic book out there, and you know that he's beloved. So if there's anybody that I would put my money on, because to actually to turn TikTok into an actual successful comic book, it's this freaking guy. Um, so check it out. There's a Kickstarter. It's called Akon Anthology. Icon as an icon. Probably. Probably. Chat Cab says new Ghostbusters coming out and nobody even cares, including me. Yeah, you can. They tried, right? They first, after the one that was all female led, and that was just kind of stupid, and then they got the kids involved, and I don't even remember any goals from that last one, which is crazy, right? Because I remember the big thing from when I watched the first one as a kid was like how the whole ghost thing worked. Um, and that was a whole big ordeal in its own. And people don't forget that one of the big things from the first one was its kind of underlying sexual themes that was going on there. So I don't know, man. New one has the original three. Yeah. But yeah, let's get into. Okay, so here's some of the stuff that was trending from this past week. Once again, I used Therapy to come up with some of the data. Star Wars Hyperspace Stories #10. That still is at the top of the list. There's cover A and B, but I think people are loving that cover A. Batman Santa Claus Silent Night #1. This has not come out, but this was on FOC last week. It is the rub and smell variant that was supposed to come out in December. That was #2. Captain Marvel issue #2, that Joshua Swaby variant. This is going to be the first cover appearance of this new. I don't know if they're going to call her Captain Marvel, but she's definitely has the nega bands on her. So she's definitely going to have some of the same powers. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #145, Dia de los Muertos. This one actually came out recently, and I think this past week. Punisher #1, Incredible Hulk 181. That facsimile is still putting up numbers, amazingly. Um, in the pre-sale for Spider-Gwen Smash #1, there's that JTC negative space variant. I don't think I've ran over that one yet. Then Thanos #1, and then there's Transformers #1, the Kirkman Energon Universe joint. New comic book day ones that came out that had a pretty good run is Birds of Prey Volume 503 that covered D by Otto Schmidt. Then of course that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 145 covers C by Gonzo for the Dia de los Muertos. Under the radar is My Little Pony issue #3. There was a retailer incentive. It was the classic reimagined Unicorn of Odd #3 by Andy Price. And Amazing Spider-Man #37, cover A, regular Ed McGuinness with I don't want to see Peter Parker. I forget it's like Rick Rapp, right? Rick Rapp, and there was also another new villain in it. I think it was his second appearance for that new villain. Just kind of swallowed Peter Parker up. Then Star Wars High Republic #1 that cover E, incentive by Miko Sayon. Thanos #1, cover F, incentive Kendrick Kunka Lim. Then the What If Dark Tome of Dracula #1, cover D, incentive Stanley Art Germ. The numbers have been strong as far as, they're okay when it comes to the incentive, but not so good when it comes to the regular trade dress yet. So we got to see. Then X Force #46, cover C. That Jessica, I think that was a 1 in 25. Under the radar was Frank Frazzetta's Mothman #3, that Augustine Alesio movie poster. Empath #1, and sent up by Deborah Carita. Mitch #1, cover D, incentive Maxim Simic. Zawa and the Belly of the Beast #1, cover E by Michael Dialinus. Now we're getting ready to go into FOC, but before I go into FOC, let's take a quick break. Make sure I get myself a little pour, a little swiggle, and then I'll be right back. All right, that was a new joint by Deviant. I believe the FOC is Sunday for that one. If you guys are interested at all. Now going to the FOC stuff that is on FOC this coming Sunday and Monday. Buffy the Last Vampire Slayer by Boom. It's got quite a bunch of covers, and I got to tell you, Buffy has definitely been putting their foot in some of these covers. Some of them have been really freaking good. I just don't think anybody actually wants to read read it yet. Don't know what's going on here with the young Buck and old ass Buffy, but all right, you go ahead and do yourself. Go ahead, do you, girl. Ghost Lore #7. Some interesting stuff. Of course, you gotta have your tentacles in there. It's a Virgin. House of Slaughter #20. Still trying to figure out what's going on with this kid with the no arms running around in the woods. Just creepy stuff from House of Slaughter. This one is interesting because they just really decide to go that way and take off his whole freaking arm and shit. Here's issue #3 by Range Academy. Issue number 2 for A Space in Between. Looks like an interesting cover, but once again, I don't think anybody's actually picked it up or looked at it. From Power Rangers. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, issue number 1. Behold Behemoth. More turtles. Behold Behemoth looks kind of interesting. There's Berserker. Second printing for Zawa issue number 1. We'll get Count Crowley issue number 2 that's out there. Cyberpunk issue number 3. Issue number 3. I think I've also got the art for issue number 4. There we go. That one looks really good. See chat again. I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Where is your... I don't believe it'll let me send you a message chat, Chad. It says share to you about this, can't cancel. Yep. All right. You can go on and drive like hell. The alternatives. Excuse me, the alternates. Look, I mean, this Count Crowley character looks really good. It's just that, they really need to do something in order to get somebody interested in it. Yeah, if you guys are interested in coming on, definitely send me a message to my Instagram at Cornbread. There's Blind Adam. Actually, I don't think he's up. Okay, Borealis. System Shock. Takio. Bendis is coming from the co-creator of Miles Morales. That might be something to keep an eye on. Fire and Ice, issue number 2. Some of these covers for Fire and Ice have been absolutely amazing. Okay, there we go. Gargoyles, issue number 11. There's your Lucia Perillo. Daniel Berry highlight says, hey, how's it going, Daniel Berry? Here's your action figure for Gargoyles number 11. Man, that would be a great freaking poster right there. Darkwing Duck, Negaduck. Gotta have your tentacles, right? Wikifighter says Adam might be blind, but you still find them titties. Not sure who did it, but this looks like a Tony Fleets freaking special. But it looks really good though for Negaduck issue number 3. Red Sonja Legendary for issue number 1, kind of a steampunk. Here's your cosplay for Red Sonja. Dungeons and Dragons Fortune Finder. Issue number 2. I wonder if that's a new character right there. Hunger in the Dusk, issue number 5 by IDW. My Little Pony, issue number 20. Cover B. There's nothing special for this week, not like last week. Sonic the Hedgehog, issue number 68. Here's your retail, here's cover B. There's your retailer incentive. Saturday Morning Adventures, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Daniel Berry's, alright. My Little Pony, The Classics Reimagined, issue number 4. Don't know why they got the little ponies trying to look sexy and shit, but alright. There's your Wizard of Oz homage. Action Comics number 1060. So Aquaman cover. Got quite a few covers for Action Comics 1060 on here. Batman number 405, year 1 and part 2. Batman and Robin, issue number 4. I think this would be the this would be the 4th appearance of Shush. Great cover right here by David Finch. There you go. There's Shush again. Batman and Robin, issue number 4. There's a Santa variant. And I want to welcome everybody to one of our longer listeners. Decided to come to the stage. Mr. Chad T. How's it going, brother?
What's going on, brother?
Hey, man. Just slugging it through.
You're solo Wookiee in it.
That's what happens at 2:00 in the morning sometimes, man. Freaking when I go too late, trying to let McClay do his thing. How's it going with you, man?
Good, man. Good. This is man. I'm really happy to be here with you. This is my first time ever being on camera for people, besides the Discord.
Really, man, that's crazy, man. Freaking, you've been with us for so long, man. I can't believe this is your first time. It seems like I do have an echo with you, Chad, and I keep having to mute you when I talk. Is there like some secondary source or something?
Well, I'll just hang out and participate as needed.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so here we go. Keeping it going with Batman and Robin Santa variant. This one is a 1 in 25. Looks like it might be a DeMeo or something like that. I gotta check on this one. Here's your variant for the Shush variant. Batman, Santa Claus, Silent Night. Now in the upcoming ones, there's in the issue number 1, actually, there is a first appearance of this other character. It's not Klaus. It might be Winter Klaus or something like that, but it's like the bad version of Santa Claus, but it's like Sweet or something like that. Do you know what I'm talking about, Chad?
Yeah, it's on the tip of my tongue. What's the demon Santa called? Krampus.
Yes. Yeah, Krampus. Yeah. So his first appearance is going to be in issue number 1. In fact, boom, there he is, right there on the cover. That's him right there. I didn't even realize that. And then, of course, you have a very bad Santa with getting tied up by Harley. Green Lantern jumping off of... Oh, it looks like he's getting attacked by vampires. Vault's got Beyond Real issue number 1. It's a lot like there's any covers that are necessarily special, and I haven't had a read ahead to see what this is all about yet. All right, Birds of Uncovered Prey issue number 1, a really good one by David Nakayama. This one is by Nathan Zerdy. Not sure what this whole series is about, because lately it's all been about Harley tattooing people. But I do need to check into what's going on with the storyline, because if you notice up top to the left, right above her head, there's a picture of a little girl, a redheaded little girl. So I don't know whether that's her daughter or what's going on. This one is by Greg Toshini. There's a Virgin variant. Scout Comics has Blade in the Dark. Also, they have Sissy. Now, I know a lot of people were going crazy for that Beneath the Trees and everything, but there's a lot of other good stuff by all these other little indie ones that has a better story, better cover work, So I was kind of shocked by that was the one that they decided to pick and everything. If you guys are interested in some Dick Tracy stuff, they got some the complete Dick Tracy, volume 5, 6, Danger Street, Black Label. This is book number 12. Oh dear. So, not sure what this is supposed to be. Detective Comics issue number 1079. You got the cross over, I guess, what's supposed to be the burial site. Is that what we're thinking? That they're killing off Batman here? What do you think, Chad?
No idea, man. There's no telling what DC's going to do.
Desperate for cash, I guess. Of course, you gotta have Batman tied up in chains, I guess. So I don't get it. They felt it was okay to tie him up in chains, but they're not gonna take his cowl off to look at his face. The fuck? Black Manta on issue number 1079. The Question. This one is your 1 in 25 variant cover. Man, look, I've seen her in quite a few stories and on quite a few covers. What do you think, Chad? Is there any reason why her first appearance shouldn't be picking up the way it is? It hasn't.
Man, you asking me all these hard questions, dude. I'm not reading a whole lot of these books, bro. The DC stuff is just not. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I guess it's one of those where as soon as DC gets its shit together, maybe it'll pick up. Maybe. Let's see. Car US says, getting tattoos isn't something Santa gives gifts for. Up and down says, Chad looks like he's smoking 6 different cigarettes. All right. Jesus, what's going on? Looks like there's the variant for that cover. That one actually looks good, but I just don't understand the concept. All right, somebody got really high, decided to draw a whole bunch of shit for a comic that nobody's heard of. All right, Flash, 519, 1 Minute War. Dawn of DC at number 6 for Green Lantern. And there's your Santa variant. Good, that's what I guess what everybody's asking for. Icon versus Hardware Invasive by Oni Press. This one actually looks pretty good. I'm not into the body horror though. Fuck all that. And there's a spoiler variant that's out there that's under wraps until FOC, but this is about FOC. AWA issue number 5 of 6 for the Madness. Looks like it's a album cover homage. Midnight, Western Theater, Witch Trial. CX has got the Miracles out there. I forget what was so special about the Miracles that they were trying to push. Outsiders, issue number 2, What Lies Beyond. Peacemaker Tries Hard, DC label. Looks like it's the graphic novel finally coming out. Project Reese, Matt Cave number 5. Seven Years in Darkness, Year 1. Summer Worm. Fuck all that. Stuff of Nightmares. Skiers. I don't understand why they're coming out with all this horror shit after Halloween. And apparently, Lunar Distro's having a exclusive cover for Skaters #1. The huge ass fucking mosquito. Speed Force issue #2. Stabby Bunny Legacy. Lost Superman issue #9. Titans Beast World issue #2. And then there's issue #2. I forget what the artist is for this one. It kind of looks like it might be John Jing, but I'm not completely sure. What in the hell is going on here? Looks like a Harley Quinn mixed with Jessica Rabbit or White Rabbit down there. What do you think, Chad? Have we seen this character before?
I haven't. Not me. I haven't seen it.
It's issue #1, too. And then there's a wolf mixed with, I'm not sure who that's supposed to be. Oh, Red Hood. Total Party Killers, David Yu. Tuskers, issue #2. Unnatural Order. Don't know what old girl's doing in the tree, but it doesn't look right. She's supposed to be like a poison ivy, but she just does a lot more weird shit. Sandman issue #1. It says the Wesley Odds Sandman. This is a second print by Raleigh Rossmo. And then here's issue #3. World's Finest Teen Titans, issue #6. What the fuck is this? Antarctica, issue #6 by Top Cow. The Big Game. Bloody Dozen. Tale of the Shrouded College. Well, that's fucking gnarly. Old girl just got her fucking throat ripped out. Curse words, I can't believe that's still freaking going. But looks like this is a compendium. The Ironfield Gang, #5, Massacre. Or Ironfield Gang Massacre, issue #5. A Haunted Girl, issue #3. Junior Baker, The Righteous Faker, issue #4. Monstrous, Volume 2. Phantom Road, #7. That was written by Jeff Lemire. Name I haven't heard from in a while. Rogue Sun number 17, I guess. Jeez. Scrapper issue number 6. Scorch number 24. So I don't like to usually say a lot about people's costumes, but if of all the places to have a skull, why in the fuck do they have a skull right out over her Yahoo? What do you think, chat?
I mean, it's a good question. Right over the hoo-ha. Crack me up, dude.
I mean, we're not even talking about like a belt like that goes around the waist. It's like over the Yahoo, like the ha-hoo, the woo-ha. Like what the fuck? Like what happens when she has to go? When she has to go, does she like open up the mouth and just decide to do the do?
It's camel skull.
Oh Jesus! I gotta write that down. Camel skull. Siphon number 2. Transformers issue number 1. What's going on here? Void Rivals number 1. Oh, 5th printing for Void Rivals. Huh. Issue number 2, 4th printing. Number 3, 3rd printing. Issue number 4, 2nd print. Fifth issue, 2nd print. Another 5th issue, 2nd print. Jesus. How many 5th issues, 2nd prints are going to have? All right, getting into some Marvel stuff. Amazing Spider-Man, Gang War. And there is a lot of covers that I have missing. But I'll definitely push that out on my Instagram if I see anything interesting. Amazing Spider-Man issue number 4, Nightmare variant by Peach Momoko. Astonishing X-Men. Daredevil, Black Armor. Marvel Gods, issue number 2, I believe. Or is it number 3? It might be number 3. The Incredible Hulk. Incredible Hulk, issue number 7. This is the Nightmare variant by Peach Momoko. Predator versus Wolverine. Let me tell you, that issue number 1 that Mark Gicchetto has still been doing pretty well. Spine-tingling Spider-Man. Star Wars Darth Vader. This one actually looks good for Star Wars Dr. Aphra. Star Wars The High Republic. Superior Spider-Man. That looks like a really good cover though. Uncanny Avengers. Uncanny Spider-Man. Wolverine. Doc Strange. Doc Strange number 10, Ski Chalet by Pablo Villalobos. Doc Strange number 10, Nightmare Variant by Peach Momoko. Spider-Boy issue number, I want to say it's number 2. No, it might be number 3. There's your Ski Chalet variant by Humberto Ramos. Original X-Men. Looks like this is a facsimile or homage. Marvel Tales, Rom versus X-Men. I don't know how I feel about this one. Do we feel like getting our feelings played with on this one? And it's got the little Hasbro joint on over it. What do you think, Chad? Hold up. Let me meet you.
I can't even imagine how he survives that, but I might buy it just to see what happens.
Yeah, so over the last couple of years, they've been trying to bring Rom into the MCU, and they've been hinting at this, that, and the other thing. Even Scott Summers' son, or Cable, he had the Rom sword that came from the Rom universe. So they've definitely been trying to make this a big thing. So it's like, stop playing around. Just do the fucking thing already. Let's get on with it. Star Wars Revelations. All right, that was it. That's all that I had for FOC this week. They were very slow in getting some of the photos to me. Once again, if I see anything good, I'll definitely put that out on my Instagram. Now, here's the stuff that is coming out this week, Wednesday, November 15th. A Haunted Girl, issue number 2. I thought that was kind of gnarly for cover B by Villanelli. Alien number 1 has a 1/100 by Miguel Mercado and a 1/25 by Mike Mayhew. So there's a new series for Alien. Black Panther issue number 6. That one has already sold out at the distributor level. This one was by Torrin Clark. Catwolf Howling Commandos issue number 2. That one's by Ryan Brown. That one has sold out. The Deviant, that's one that for the commercial I played earlier. It's just, we're going into issue number 1. My favorite is 1/100. I did not purchase any for myself, but I'm going to be on a hunt to see if there's any that is out there, because it's just a gnarly cover. G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero number 1, sold out for the Hama cut. Rumpus Room number 3, cover B, McGuire. It says it's still available, but when I went into it, it says that the stock is low, so there is some interest in this one. Be careful. Don't let this be like the beneath the trees for you. If you're interested in it, just go ahead and freaking grab it, because people have a little bit of cash now, and they're going to be all over this one. Star Wars Dark Droids number 4. These 1/100s have not really been doing that well, but I still like them. Superior Spider-Man, that one, this Scotty Young issue number 1 is already definitely freaking sold out. And I think that's it. That's it as far as, so I ran over this training stuff. I ran over the hot stuff from this past week. I went through all of the FOC. Plus, I gave you some of the stuff that's coming out this past week. So I'm done from what I got. Chad, did you pick up anything interesting this week?
I haven't picked up anything. I haven't picked up any modern books. Those Ghost Lore books, though, I think you showed 3 covers, and there wasn't a bad cover in there. I'm probably gonna pick up all 3 of those. That Cap Wolf I've got to find. That Ryan Brown Cap Wolf for sure that's an auto purchase for me. That cover's just badass. And full disclosure, I mean, for everybody that's watching, I wish I could see the chat, but I can't. I don't read a lot of the stories anymore because I'm old as fuck, and I feel like when I read these things, I want to capture the nostalgia of reading them when I was younger, and it just doesn't happen. I read
Yeah.
every once in a while. There's some. I'll tell you what I recently purchased. I purchased The Fall of the House of Usher. Dark Horse had a 2-issue miniseries and a graphic novel, and I bought all 3 books. I haven't read them yet, but I'm going to read them tomorrow or this weekend because the show was amazing. I can't get over it. I think about it every day. It's a fantastic show, and there was a couple of the Spider-Man books in there that I think they were pretty epic covers too. But man, I don't read a whole lot, and I don't I don't have a whole lot of faith in the modern books and the stories nowadays because I see what you guys are talking about, and there's just not. You guys don't talk a whole lot about how great the stories are. I don't hear that a lot. So why bother?
Yeah. So the problem is right now is that there's a there's too many freaking books that are coming out all at freaking once. So by the time I get done with just looking at what's out there and then turning around a show, then I'm like, okay, now I got to start reading books, and then I get through the Marvel books, and then I get through a little bit of DC books, and then I don't even get a chance to like really read the indies like I freaking used to because in between running shop, writing, and then doing all these shows, I just don't have time anymore to get through all that stuff unless the retailer does me a solid and sends me a pre copy, and they're like, hey, we definitely need you to do this. Um, so yeah, it's definitely tough. It was a lot easier during COVID, not because not because I had more time. It was because they just cut out like how many titles they were putting out each freaking week, um, which made me like, oh, this is actually pretty good. But now it's just too much. Um, Reprint just finished the show, so in me he just says he just finished the show too. He likes it. Yep. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. But yeah, man, freaking that is what it is, man. There's just too much stuff in between. Trying to keep up with normal Marvel stuff. A lot of people don't even like DC anyways, but it's still good because they're trying. They're coming up with all these new characters, but unfortunately, some of them are just female characters of characters that we already freaking know. Um, and then they're like, okay, here's this female character. Then what? They just don't have a good enough story to back it up. They've have how many Wonder Women have they introduced within the last 2 years? Eight. Eight different new Wonder Women. We just had her daughter introduced within the last couple months, and everybody's forgotten about her. No, why? Because they don't even have a good story to go along with her, right? So and then of course you're charging what 6.99, 8.99 for the freaking cover price. So that's a whatever, and that's not going to bring anybody to want to rush to their local store to buy that shit. So it is what it is. But hey, Chad, man, it is almost 3:20, almost 3:30 in the morning, man. It is time for us to get our old asses to freaking bed, so we can actually try and freaking read some of that stuff. I don't have any other podcasts. I'm definitely going to try and get on with Adam this week and anything else that's out there. I want to thank all of you. I want to thank all you guys for hanging out with me. Chad, you got anything left to say?
Yeah, I mean, this is great, dude. Hanging out with you for a few minutes. Sorry for the echo, you guys. I'll try to I'm gonna get a better setup here, and if I want to do this more often, I'm just on my phone, obviously. You guys might want to check out Brian McClay's Modern Comic Mayhem tomorrow night. It's going to be pretty epic, I think, if he has the guests that he wants to have on there. It's gonna be electric.
Yeah, definitely. Get on that. I forget what time that is. Is that I think it goes like on 9 or is it earlier than that? I think it's 9 or something like that. I forget what time. Um, Don't forget also Comic Book Women also had a show tonight. If you haven't listened to that, it was pretty good as well. And then yeah, if there's anything else you guys would like us to listen to or read, we can definitely drop those in the freaking comments. Definitely please hit that freaking like, and love y'all. Bless y'all. We're out of here.
For each man in his time is paid until he walks along the deep and sees his future in the water. Along life's arm within his reach. I never needed a one.
Sometimes men take matters into their own hands. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
As you guys know, it is Drunken Chat